Biden spoke before departing for San Francisco and the APEC summit.
We're not trying to decouple from China, but what we're trying to do is change the relationship for the better. From my perspective, if in fact the Chinese people who are in trouble right now economically, if the average if the average citizen in China was able to have a decent paying job, that benefits them and it benefits all of us.
For more, Bloomberg's Greater China editor Jenni Marsh is on the ground there at APEC in San Francisco ahead of this key meeting. And Jenni, it's interesting. I don't know how the Chinese side would go with these comments about, the Chinese people are in trouble economically right now, just putting that out there. But I do wonder if it does feed into, the dynamics of this relationship and this meeting.
Absolutely. I mean, you kind of have to wonder if Biden is having a little bit of fun with these problems that China's having with its economy this year. Earlier in the year, he called the growth slowdown in China a ticking time bomb for the world. So, he's sort of enjoying, I think, the position of strength that perhaps puts him in going into these talks. Nevertheless, both sides are going in this week with really wanting to steady ties. Biden sent a flurry of officials to Beijing to make sure that Xi Jinping comes to the summit this week, and it's finally happening. Xi Jinping is due to land in San Francisco within the next hour. Treasury Secretary Janet Yellen is going to meet him on the tarmac, and it's going to really kick off these 2 days of exchanges and talks that are going to be crucial in the bilateral relationship.
Yeah, Jenni, there's a CEO summit on the sidelines of the APEC summit, and everybody from, Microsoft CEO to Elon Musk is going to be there. What will they want to see coming out of this?
They're going to have a lot of questions for Xi Jinping and his delegation. Primarily, what's the access like to the Chinese market? Is China really open for business? How healthy is the Chinese economy? And how secure is their money in China if they invest? There's been this schizophrenic, messaging from China this year. On the one hand, officials keep saying, they welcome foreign investment. China is open to foreign business. On the other hand, we see crackdowns in sectors like tech, increased security laws around data, international security concerns, and just general suspicion with foreign actors in China. So this is their chance to sit down with Xi, get an audience with him, and really find out where the Communist Party's red lines are, what their thinking is, and what the opportunity is to do business in the world's second largest economy still.
Jenni, as the Chinese leader is due to arrive, what's the level of security been like in San Francisco and around the event, and what kind of reception is he likely to get?
Just walking to the conference center today, security was notably stepped up. You can see the Secret Service are out. There's 4 different kinds of levels of U.S. police. This is a national security event, and it's for good reason. I think within the Chinese community in America, there's a very mixed reaction to Xi coming. On the one hand, hundreds of people are being bussed across America to greet Xi at the airport, and some people are coming here on their own steam from as far away as New Jersey to welcome the Chinese leader. There are also protesters already around the hotel near the conference center where we expect that Xi Jinping will be staying. This morning, there were protesters out with placards against Xi, against the Communist Party, and this public confrontation, protesters in China is very, very rare. So, this is something that the police are going to have to manage this week. But of course, we asked police officers, what are you going to do on Wednesday when organizers are telling us around 1,000 people are going to march towards the Moscone Center to protest against Xi being here. And as long as that remains peaceful, security is telling us that it will be allowed to take place because, this is America and people are allowed to peaceful protest here. So, it's going to be an interesting week to see how this is managed by the security forces.